His injuries and poor form on the field. No wonder manager Brian Horton has called this City's most important game of the season, and his team selection is dictated by a crop of injuries which has made no less than 14 of the club's professional staff unavailable. Niall Quinn, a long-term absentee of course, and the job of replacing him tonight goes to another Republic of Ireland international, Alan Kernahan, who's played up front before in his Middlesbrough days and who's at least spared the difficult job of containing Forest's leading scorer Stan Collymore. He missed the first game in Nottingham because of a hamstring injury, and he'll play as Forest's lone ranger in front of a five-man midfield. Forest have a better record in this competition than any club in the land in recent seasons. They've appeared in 3 of the last 5 finals and have lost just 3 times in 42 ties in that period. Well, as Nottingham Forest get the tie underway, you won't be surprised to hear that it's a wet and windy night here in Manchester. The winners of this tie get a place in the quarter-finals and a home draw against Tranmere Rovers. So a big incentive for both these clubs. Manchester City, who have appeared in 3 finals, now under the guidance of Brian Horton. Kernahan gets his first touch as a makeshift centre-forward, and it wasn't a bad second touch either. The shot really testing Crossley. Well, in his middle. Phillips takes over again for Nottingham Forest. Gemmell. This is Chettle. Phillips making a good run for him in the inside left position. It goes out to Black. And now Pearce. Well, they're always good at keeping possession in this way, Nottingham Forest. Cooper finds Little. Now Collymore. And he did well there, Collymore. Gets it back again. And does what he's so good at, runs directly at the defenders, and the shot takes a deflection and could well have produced the first goal for Nottingham Forest. Disappointment for Kingsley Black, I'm sure, that he didn't. Edgehill overlapping, outside him. He goes alone, and Pearce blocks the shot. Good positive run that by David White. And a foul there by Pearce. Dangerous free kick to concede, really, Nottingham Forest. They've got some big and powerful men. Manchester City, Kernahan, Bonk and Curl all coming forward for the kick. Kernahan the target. Well, they made a terrible mess of the intended cross. They've got another opportunity, and it's better this time, and Kernahan gets up, and it's a goal by Bonk. 1-0 to Manchester City. 16 minutes gone. And the Dutchman scores the first goal of this tie after a goalless first game in Nottingham. Kernahan's presence totally unsettled the Forest central defenders, and his willingness to throw himself at the ball, and Bonk came in and cleaned up behind him. And Little cannot appear to keep his present. Here's McMahon. Now Flitcroft. Edgehill. Phillips makes the challenge, but that's good play by Flitcroft. Finds Sheeran now. Lomas. And on to Kernahan. It's just too far in front of him, though. Black. Phillips. Webb takes over. And now Phillips again. Stone. Pearce marauding forward in typical fashion, but he's untypically given the ball straight to Edgehill, and he's got some work to do to get back now. And his flailing challenge wasn't successful either. It's a very good run by the young fullback, this, and he deserves the applause from the Main Road supporters for that. And it's delivered in towards Kernahan. Little gets it clear. Lomas gives it back to Forrest. Bohinen. Lovely control. Webb. On to Collymore. An excellent ball, that. Now he'll go on and try and take the defender on here. It's the only way he knows. Stone. And Collymore went down under the challenge, but there was no question of a foul. Webb finding Stone. Little. Webb again. And they back off, allowing Cooper to come forward and find Collymore. Good turn by Collymore! Brilliant effort! Cooper gets in with the header, and Manchester City fortunate to still be in front. Vintage Stan Collymore. He turned and delivered a stinging shot against the woodwork. That deserved a goal. More so unlucky with that first half effort against the bar. Here's Black. Pearce. Not the best ball by the Forest skipper, but they've got possession still with Chettle, and then he wastes it. And then Pearce and the referee collided as Pearce was running back into his position, and the referee, not surprisingly, came off worst. Well, Stuart Pearce has upset a few referees in his career, but never quite in this manner. Just watch this for a clash of heads. Well, that is what happened next. A lot of men forward here, Forrest, and almost inevitably he then plays it straight to a Manchester City player. Phelan. The rain still lashing down here at Main Road. It's not doing much good for Manchester's claim that they are not the rainiest city in Britain, as everyone thinks they are. It has not stopped raining from about 2 hours before the kick-off tonight. Kernahan for City. Not a bad effort from that range, and he's doing reasonably well for his manager in this new role as centre-forward alongside himself. I think most of us would have gone down with a little crack in the face like that. And I think Steve McMahon's lucky that the referee either didn't have a clear view of that incident or decided it was much ado about nothing. I wouldn't think Frank Clark would share that view. Phillips. Little. This is Stone. Little to Bohinen. Webb. Oh, he turned that back beautifully, and Stone couldn't really get the angle right. But Phillips still has possession for Forest, and then it goes to Webb. Yes! They were just about to make the substitution. Bull's got to go back onto his seat on the bench now, because Webb has brought Nottingham Forest level, and quite justifiably so, I think. They deserve that. They worked hard for this opening here. It was a beautiful ball to pick out Webb, a crisp finish. I think it deflected off the defender, and that deflection was enough to leave Coton rooted to the spot. Collymore. And again, Bohinen and Little link up. Webb making a good run. He slides it out to Stone. Edge Hill. Well, he knew that he had players coming in right behind him, and had to get that one away. He couldn't take any risks there, and twisted his ankle in the process. It was okay. It would be the winner. Cooper to Little. Forrest certainly looking the more likely of the two to snatch a winner here. Stone. Bohinen. That's a great ball back to Stone. and he's done well. Good save by Coton. What a beautiful ball played into Steve Stone by Lars Bohinen, and Coton denied him. The corner taken quickly and played in towards Collymore. Here's Bohinen. Well, if his shot had been half as good as his pass earlier, and they might still get one yet. Stone again. Little. Phillips. And even Cooper coming forward, unusually so for him. Finds Webb, and it goes back to Cooper. Chance for Cooper. He scored! Colin Cooper's first ever goal for Nottingham Forest has surely now given Frank Clark's team a place in the quarter-finals of the competition they've come to regard as their own. 3 minutes to go. His first real sortie from his own half. A beautifully little flighted ball in by Webb, but what a crisp finish by Cooper. Manchester City 1, Nottingham Forest 2. The boos sound around Main Road now for the Premiership team, who are troubled both on and off the field. But Colin Cooper, Frank Clark's first signing, gets an impressive goal that will show. And look now as though they've got a home tie in the quarter-finals against Tranmere Rovers, virtually sewn up. But they've got one more free kick to face before that final whistle. They've got to get the ball in the box here, Manchester City, and Phelan does just that. And it breaks to Vonk, not the hero for a second time. McMahon scurries to keep possession, aware of how close we are to the end here. But he's lost possession. Little slices it into the crowd. A triumph for Frank Clark, and a richly deserved one. Despite going a goal behind, they played their patient passing football. Webb set them on the way with an equalising goal. Cooper scored the winner. Boos all around Main Road. Always a sad sound to hear, but I have to say the greatest compliment I can pay to Nottingham Forest is that they look like the side from the higher division, and they now have a place in the quarter-finals and a home tie against Tranmere Rovers. Final score, Manchester City 1,